Hi and welcome to another rambly video. This is a little bit of an experiment as well. I've got some slow-mo time-lapse type bits in here that I'm going to attempt to stitch together, and it's all about making what I'm currently wearing, which you will see at the end. So if you're interested in a thrift flip type of activities of making things up as you go, you don't mind a bit of mess, then please carry on and watch, and hopefully it was interesting. See you in a bit. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about refashioning of men's shirts, thrifted men's shirts, and I remembered that we had a load of my husband's work shirts because he used to go into the office 5 days a week, and when COVID hit, obviously he wasn't going into the office, and now he only goes in 2 days a week. So we've had this bag of shirts sitting basically in my wardrobe in one of those suction packs for, well, since COVID. So what is that, 4 years now? So anyway, I got really into watching videos of shirt refashions recently, and went down the biggest rabbit hole with it, and I have been digging through the bag. There were quite a few shirts in there. I'll put a couple of pictures in here to show what there were, and there were some really nice colour schemes in there. What I've got on at the moment is one of them, because I'm thinking of having a go at making just a sort of baby doll. It fits me up to here. From this point onwards my hips are too wide, so obviously this is the maximum length I can go to, but the shirt fits quite nice, so I'm thinking that I might have a go at refashioning this. The collar on this is a bit knackered, so I'm gonna try and maybe just take the collar stand and leave that bit up, but I quite like the top of this. And I've got a few shirts that go with it, so I'm going to see how much fabric I can get out of them, and see if I can't make a dress. It is absolutely miserable outside. I don't know if I can turn this around to show you, but the weather is just shocking today. I don't know if you can see out my window, but it's, yeah, I think I blame Wimbledon. I'm sure it'll be fine when that finishes. So anyway, I will go and get the other shirts, and then see what we can do. So these are the shirts that I've picked out. So this has a you can see it's got pink and the purple and the dark blue stripes in it, and we've got this dark blue shirt, a sort of purpley pink, and then this pink one which has actually got some piping on the collar, but I tried this one on to wear on the top, and the collar sits weird, so I didn't like it. So, and I thought I don't actually seem to have enough fabric possibly with these. My husband was a lot thinner 4 years ago apparently, and also had a smaller neck, and so I thought I might add that one in as well, because there's stripes on this shirt and there's stripes on that shirt, but I'm not sure about that. It depends. I'm going to see how much fabric I can get out of these, so I've got to unpick them now. So here we go with the seam ripper. One seam ripper, and several hours later you'll probably see me again. So I've taken the collar off, you can't see me, which was actually a lot easier. So I've left the collar stand, and I will probably fold that in and leave that as it is, because I'm kind of liking it just like this. I'm not using any scientific method. I am attempting to get relatively straight lines with my quilting ruler. So now I'm deciding about the sleeves, and whether I want to shape it, and I actually quite like the oversizedness of the top at the moment, so I don't think I'm going to try and shape this in. I just want to get rid of obviously all of this. So I've just sort of stood here comfortably and then decided where I want to cut the sleeve off. So I want it to be quite kind of 3/4 length. So I've just marked there. So I'm going to put the two sleeves together and attempt to get them the same length, and then I'll probably add elastic in that just to get a little bit of poofiness, because it's, I think that would be quite nice. And then I'm going to add see how much fabric I can get out of all of the other shirts, and then see if I can add tiers. But obviously it does completely depend on how much fabric I can get out of them. And of course I will have what's left of the sleeves and the bottom half of the shirt that I can also attempt to build into the tiers. So that's next on the list. I'm now trying to decide how much of this I want to pick apart and keep, and how much I just want to use my scissors and cut the pieces off. I'm very, very tempted to just cut the pieces off because I'm feeling a bit lazy. But I think it would be good to try to maintain as much as possible. Oh, I don't know. I think I'm going to end up cutting it with scissors. Some of these shirts, I don't know why we were keeping them. The collar is really, really, past its best. He's got his money's worth out of these shirts, but they are really nice quality. I mean, this one is a Jasper Conran, and it's a lovely cotton. Very nice. In fact, they're all nice cottons, which is good, because I was really worried that I was going to take all of my husband's shirts out and they'd all be made of polyester, and then my dreams of refashioning a garment would be dead before I even start. I do wonder how I can save that. I saw this one video where they had made like a tunic, and they'd used the collar as like the top of the little gathered tunic, and I do think that would look nice. That's not what I'm going for today, so I might try and save that one. So anyway, handy unpicker. The pen that I'm using, by the way, it's what are they called? Pilot Frixion heat erasable pen. I've got a few different colours, because obviously sometimes different coloured fabrics it's hard to see. And then my rotary cutter is actually a fairly cheap one that I got in a pack. I think it came with a seam ripper, not this one. I got this one especially because it's got the bigger handle, so it's easier to hold. So I quite like that. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing next. So I actually managed to get 88 inches of a tier. So this is 22 inches times 4 out of the remaining part of the first shirt. And I've worked out that the first tier, let me show you my wonderful drawing. So there's me working out. So the first tier needs to go over my hips with a bit spare, because obviously I would prefer it to be a bit gathered. So I took my hip measurement, which I'm very sad to say is actually closer to 49 than it was until recently. And then I've added a bit of space to give me some room there. So the first tier could be this, but I'm wondering if that would be too much to be the first tier. I would rather have this as a gap. But if I want a bit of space to allow it to gather, then I probably want it to be more like the first tier to be more like, I don't know if you can see that over my hips, that's 60. So I'm thinking if that's gathered, or do I want it closer? So that's 53. So it would still be gathered. It would be gathered up here, and then the second tier would probably start about there. I don't know. I mean, it all depends on how much fabric I can get out of the rest of these shirts. So, but I was really pleased that I managed to get 88. I basically, just with what was left, I made my quilting ruler, which happens to be 15 centimeters wide. And I just laid that over fabric and cut what was left, and then I could see I could get 2 out of it, so I just cut 2 rows of this. So if I can do that with the others, and perhaps obviously I get a bit more because I've got the top of the shirt as well, we're laughing. So fingers crossed I can get lots of fabric, and yeah, we'll see. I'm on to the next colour now. Cut cut the collar off, and I did the pink, excuse me for going past the camera. So I've done the pink, and I've got about 100 inches out of this one. The funny thing is, even though I'm using a ruler and I'm laying it all down nice and flat, when I come to open it up, it's not flat. I can't do a straight line to save my life. It doesn't matter what it is, never ever do a straight line. So, but it'll be fine. I don't even think you'll notice it when it's all gathered up. And in a skirt, I'm pretty sure every single dress I've ever made has got a wonky hem. So, but yeah, so there's 100. So I've got 88 in the stripy one, and then I've got 100 in this one. Then we just have to see what we have in this one and the dark blue one. And we should be good to start seeing what kind of dress I can make out of this. And also, that's one of my hairs. Also, what it's gonna look like, and if I need to add in that other one if it doesn't get long enough. So far, it's looking promising. And it is a shame, but all the tiers do appear to be ending up about the same width, or you know, this is that width? Yeah, I think it is. Which it probably would look better if they were slightly staggered. So depending on how it goes, I might see if I can make the first tier anyway a little bit longer. Obviously it's too late now to recut it. So we'll see. I'm just thinking whether I turn it upside down and have the blue, but I think the blue shirt is the biggest, so I think I'm going to get the most fabric out of that one. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to cut the sleeves off. The way I'm cutting the sleeves is I'm just putting a little snip close to the seam, and then I'm just cutting around as close to the seam as I can. I do obviously have all of the fabric from the sleeves that I could also reclaim and add in, which is a thought. Don't know. Just want to see how well this works out, really. I don't want it to end up looking like a clown outfit, I guess. I want it to look meaningful. I was thinking on my little drawing there, I was thinking about whether I add a pocket to it that has from fabric from one of the other colours to try and bring it in, or even at the end of the sleeves I could add a little ruffle from one of the other colours just to sort of bring all of the colours together. And then potentially also, just literally thought of this, in the in-between places I could add a little bit of the stripy, but I'm not sure that I have enough, because obviously there's only 88, but if I'm making it half the width, that might work. Don't know. I'm just trying to think how I can make it a cohesive, you know, rather than having it look like a shirt that's been attached to 3 other pieces of fabric that also were a shirt. So anyway, I shall plod on and keep cutting this up and seeing how much fabric I can get out of it, and then yeah, fingers crossed we end up with a decent garment at the end. You can see over here, this, I've put it on top of my husband's shirt. So this is the other Lily shirt. So this is actually an old bed sheet. Well, I say old, I bought it from TK Maxx. So it was a fairly cheap, and it feels polyester cotton, I think, fabric that I got from a bed sheet, and I've already made a dress out of it. I made a toile of the I forget the name of it, but I'll put it up here, and it's a nice looking dress actually, because the other part of the quilt set was white and it didn't have the skulls on it, and this one has big skulls on it. But I'm just not in the mood to finish it, so I have a few unfinished projects at the moment, which is not like me. I'm normally a start and finish person, but I've got my husband's shirt, I've got the Lily top there, I've got my shirred dress, the shirring elastic has arrived, I just need to add a few more rows of shirring and that's done. My husband wants me to take up the sleeves on his green shirt that I made him, just because he rolls them up all the time, so he doesn't want them as long because it's too much fabric. So yeah, so I've got a few things to sort of do, but I just didn't feel like it, so I thought, nope, I'm just gonna make something up out of some old shirts and make a little bit of space in my wardrobe that will be immediately filled with something else, because I always, I work fast, I make things fast, and I enjoy the making process more than the wearing process. I'm not exactly a, you know, fashion diva, and I actually spend most of my time in t-shirts and leggings, and I make all these gorgeous dresses and then rarely ever wear them, which is really sad actually. But it does mean that I've got a bit of an exploding wardrobe situation going on that I need to try and fix. If only there were another 4'10", somewhat wide person out there who would quite like to have my dresses, I would happily sell them to them. You know, I do a decent job on them. No doubt I'll get called to go back in the office more frequently, and then I will start having to wear them, so let's hope that's not an omen. I do work from home practically 5 days a week. I rarely have to go in the office. Usually I only go in when I've got a meeting, so, and I'm perfectly happy with that scenario, so let's hope that doesn't change. But anyway, I am just cutting off another sleeve. I probably should turn off the camera so that I pay attention and don't snip all the way through this fabric by accident, and come back to you when I've got some more progress done. So I've got the first tier on, and I decided to change the buttons on the front of the shirt. It did have white buttons down the front, and I took the buttons off of the blue shirt and have put them onto here, and I think that is now quite nice. I decided that the tiers that I was creating were too narrow, and it was starting to remind me of a 1980s rah-rah dress. So what I did was the blue tier, I have joined two of them together, so it's still nice and gathered on the top here, but it's twice as long. So yeah, so that's how it's looking at the moment. Make sure I don't stand on a dog. So that's it so far. I had played around with a few little scraps in my book on my little diagram to see how I wanted the tier colours to be, because I was originally thinking of it going light to dark, but I changed my mind because of the tier length issue and the fact that I was literally reminded of a dress I had as a kid. I decided I would change my mind and not do that. The perfectionists out there are absolutely going to hate this, because it's quite the patchwork piece, but I'm hoping it'll turn out okay. I still think adding a pocket or something up the top here to bring all of the colours together would be a good idea, but I'll think about that afterwards. I sew the collar back together. It is a little bit messy, especially around the edges. I don't think it's going to be that noticeable though, and to be honest, I don't know if I will have that button up anyway. But yeah, so I thought I would just share where I am at the moment. You can see how patchworky it is, and this shirt of my husband's had darts in it and all sorts of things, so there's lots of the original bits that you can see in the patchwork. I don't mind that. I do think that I have possibly put some of the pieces the wrong way around. Yep, for sure. Just looking at that, the shirt had flat felled seams, you can see there, and that's the correct way for that seam, and that's the wrong way, but I've got the wrong way on the outside. The shirt itself actually says it's from Savile Row. We have no idea where we bought it from, so it was quite a high-end shirt. It even had darts in the back and everything that I have undone, which is what these bits are. That's where the darts were. So it was quite an expensive shirt, I guess, when we first got it. But that's a shame. It's typical though. Of course you'd notice it after you've done it. When I was watching the YouTube video from Catherine, I think it's Catherine Sews, but I don't know for sure. When I was watching her, she was putting her tiers together, and she was saying that because they're not actually it's not taking that much weight, and it is a 4-thread overlocker, which is the same as mine, that is strong enough to only be overlocked and not be sewn together, which obviously saves an awful lot of time. So that's what I've been doing. This bit where I'm joining the top of the shirt to gathered, I am sewing that, obviously, because that's holding all of the weight and it needs to be stronger. I am being lazy and only doing 1 row of gathering stitches because life's too short to do 2 rows of gathering stitches. I do go through and double check, like I've just found a bit where you know, you've got to be careful with these pieces folding over there. I don't know if that's coming up, and so it's showing a little bit on that side, so I might unpick that part and correct that. But I kind of wanted it to be something that I will actually want to wear, not just a gimmicky thing that I've made. So anyway, that's where I am right now. Back in a bit when I have put the next tier on. So it's 7 o'clock on Sunday morning. Everybody's still in bed. I'm in my pyjamas. I just thought I'd pop on before people get up, because yesterday afternoon I got a few things done, but everyone came downstairs, so I stopped sewing. So yesterday I got the 3rd tier on, so we now have that bottom tier. I'm having a massive case of deja vu. I am 100% certain that as a teenager I had a dress in exactly the same colours, in exactly the same style. I think I might be recreating something from my childhood accidentally. Anyway, I'll put a picture up here of what it looked like before I made some adjustments. I felt the shirt and the skirt just didn't jibe together as it was. I really liked this shirt as it was coming out, and I kind of wish I had left that like with the peplum instead, but I was committed to making the dress. So I've cut the sleeves off and I adjusted the neckline, so the neckline is now round, and I'm in the process of attaching some binding to the neckline. I'm not committed to this binding yet, that may well change, and I'm probably going to bring the shoulder in so it fits. At the moment it's coming off my shoulder, so I'm probably going to bring that in to about there, and I'm toying with the idea of adding a ruffle just to make it a bit more feminine on the top. But yeah, I thought I'd pop on before everybody gets up and let you know that it's very embarrassing to talk to myself on the camera when the family are in the living room, so I've got to find time when they're not around. Anyway, I should probably get on with a bit of this while everyone's sleeping. Hopefully I won't wake them up with my sewing machine. Back in a bit. I'm thinking that I should probably put a warning on the beginning of this video now that any perfectionists or well, if you don't like seeing mess and you don't like seeing someone make things up as they go, you probably don't want to watch this video. But anyway, I've got dressed. It is 9:28 now, and kids are still asleep, but husband is up, and I have decided to completely change my plans. So I removed the shirt. I feel like Andy Pandy in this right now. I removed the shirt from the skirt because it just wasn't working for me, and I was getting to the point where I was whittling away at it so much that it actually was no longer fitting me. So the shirt that actually was oversized originally now is very tight. So I did a couple of things. First of all, you can see this mock-up here where I'm considering putting like a Peter Pan collar on, and I literally just laid some tissue paper over the top of it. And then drew the line of the collar, because this is all hand cut, so it's not necessarily straight or uniform. So I put some tracing paper over it, I drew the line of the collar, and then I'm sort of trying to decide what shape I want it, and I think I want the round shape. What I'm thinking is that I will probably do it in the blue shirt fabric, possibly with a ruffle in the pink if I have enough of that, the dark pink. And also what I've done, because I was adjusting the underarm seams and I was getting to the point where it was just pulling too much across the front, I've added a couple of panels of the pink on the side, so I really do look like Andy Pandy right now. So this may or may not end up being a wearable project, but I'm having fun, and to be honest, these shirts would have ended up in the rubbish anyway. So I'm not losing anything by doing this, and I'm having fun just making things up, and I'm not using a pattern, and yeah, so I kind of like how this looks. I can't decide whether I want it to stay opening. I don't need it to open, I can get it on over my head. I think I probably will leave it sleeveless, and I did toy with the idea of ruffles around the sleeves, but I'm just not a ruffle person. I think ruffles around the collar, because it kind of goes over the, I think that will look nice. So that's where I am at the moment. All could change next time I come back, so see you in a minute. So I just thought I'd put back on just to show you how I've managed to squeeze one half of the collar out. So this is the original neckline of the blue shirt and the front of the blue shirt that I've taken the buttons off of, and I've literally just managed to squeeze on the fold one of the collar pieces across the shoulder. So it's going to have some of the original shoulder seams, which means I'm going to have to find a second collar piece in a different shirt colour, so it'll possibly be the stripy one. I think I've got a bit of that left. Yeah, I've definitely got a lot of that left because I never actually used the tier that I cut out. So it may be stripy underneath and blue on the top. I can't decide if I want to do the ruffle or not. I think that might be a touch too far to me, but we'll see. So there you go. Hopefully the heavy rain outside isn't too loud, but I have pretty much finished. I will put a picture up once I've completed the final bits, but here it is with the collar on, and I've bound the armholes. I decided to sew up the buttonholes because it was pulling a little bit and it wasn't sitting straight, so now it is. And yeah, I really like it. I have been toying with the idea of putting a little, it would have to be very narrow strip on the very bottom, but I think I kind of prefer where it's sitting right now. So I'm just in the process of making some little patch pockets to go on the front, and I was thinking of making them something like that. So the rain stopped now, but we seem to have a bird flying low down, so hopefully you can't hear that. And then my son came downstairs just to say it's raining. Sure is. So anyway, I'll put a bit of video in of the dress as I'm wearing it. It is bright, it is a bit whimsical. It's probably not something that I would necessarily, I don't know, wear out. I would definitely wear it around the house, and I'll be honest, that's where I spend most of my time. So, and it's very comfy. When I put it on and I asked my husband what he thought, his first response was, it's very loose. But he says that about everything that I make, because I think he's got this idea of me making fitted garments that, you know, I don't know. I'm not feeling that way at the moment. I need to lose a little bit of weight before I feel comfortable doing that. Too much of a mum tum. So in the video I am wearing a pair of black joggers because it's not very warm today. It's supposedly 16 degrees and raining. I don't know where summer. Oh, it was a seagull. It's caught something up on the roof over there. Sorry, losing my track. But it doesn't really feel like summer, but I'm sure all the British people who you may or may not watch are all complaining about the weather at the moment. So I may pop on again in a bit to see how these patch pockets go. that I'm thinking of putting on. I've just put it on and marked on my hands. I've not tried to make them even on either side. I'm just going to literally put them where my hands want to fall, because this dress isn't meant to be perfect. And then that's it really. So this has been my weekend of more sewing. I didn't really feel like finishing anything off or doing anything proper today, so yeah, I'll be back on in a bit with a completely finished garment and maybe do another little video for you. But hopefully this has kind of inspired you to maybe go and find some old shirts or something and just have a play, see what you can make out of it, because I've made a dress out of 3 shirts and it's not that bad. If they were more cohesive colours and not quite so reminiscent of a dress I had in the late 1980s, I'd probably feel better about it. I do have some more of my husband's shirts actually, which were all just pinstripes, light blue pinstripes, and I might try and make a skirt again following Catherine So's version, although she did say that she wished she'd made her tiers longer, so I will see if I can do that. And so yeah, maybe that's next. Otherwise I think I'm probably just going to tidy up because I have made a mess. I might even take a photo and put that up here of the mess that is on the floor in front of me. And then I'll tidy up, and I might even go and play some video games for a little while because I feel like that. So yeah, I'll probably be back in a bit. So every time I turn this on it wobbles. Anyway, I'm going to try something different. I've put the patch pockets where I want them to go on the dress, but I've put them on upside down, and I'm going to sew along the bottom of the pocket here, and then I'm going to flip it up and then sew the other 2 sides, and I think that's going to make a nice neat bottom. I haven't done that before, so experimenting. So let's see if it works. Back in a minute. The sun has actually come out. We had a massive clap of thunder, the rain stopped and the sun's come out and there's blue sky, so weird weather. Anyway, here I am wearing it. The top, when I see it like this, always makes me think of Andy Pandy. The dress, I actually quite like it. The pockets are cute, so I put some video in, but the pockets worked out cute. They fit my hands, which is always a benefit. It's very comfortable. There is definitely a little bit of dodginess going on in my cutting here. You can see that. I don't care. I mean, I was trying to figure out, you can probably see in the video, I was trying to figure out whether I could put a belt on with it. Don't know. I think it would look a bit weird with a belt. But oh, I'm wearing it right now and it's super comfy. I just finished ironing the very, very long hem, which just went on and on and on. So I'm actually a little bit warm at the moment. So I did take my black joggers off just to take the final video, because obviously it looks better if I don't have clothes on underneath it. So I hope this was interesting for you. It was a bit of a rambly one again, much like last weekend's. But it was good fun, and I quite, I drafted my own collar. It's not perfect, there's issues, but it works. And I made my own top, and I made the armholes fit me, and I managed to get 3-tiered dress out of 3 men's shirts, so I'm quite pleased with myself. Like I said, I've still got some more to play with, so I may well go and play with them, but I think for the rest of the afternoon I am probably going to go and play World of Warcraft, which is my go-to fantasy role-playing game. I've been playing it for longer than my 20-year-old daughter's been alive. So that was way too much information for you, but anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please do give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know if you'd be interested in me sharing the process of turning the other shirts that I have into a tiered skirt, which is what I'm thinking of doing. And I will video that process as well and share it with you. Otherwise I might just do it, and then you may well see that in a future video, which is the experimental space lily that I'm making out of the bedsheet that I mentioned earlier, and I'm going to talk about that pattern in a bit more detail. I really love it. I really love what it looks like. It does seem to have some issues. It could just be me, so it would be good to get other people's views. In other exciting news, I decided to take the plunge and sign up for a virtual sewing session. So I'm actually going to attend that on the 20th of July. I've never done one before. So that's quite exciting, a little bit out of my comfort zone. So I hope everybody's gentle with me. And an old work colleague of mine, she was actually my boss until she retired. We keep in touch. She's a crafty lady, and we've signed up to go and do some chassicot, the stitching, and indigo dyeing at a local community centre in August. So I'm really looking forward to that, and seeing her as well. So yeah, anyway, I've rambled on for long enough. I hope this was interesting, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.